Everyone thought Homelander was the peak of human cruelty. Then we woke up the guy who wrote the blueprint. Soldier Boy isn't just some relic from the Cold War. He's a walking, breathing war crime. But underneath that shield and all that toxic bravado, there's a deeply broken psychology at play. We look at him and see a legend, but if you look closer, you see a man trapped in a bulletproof cage of his own making.
I didn't mean to hurt those people. I'm not a bad guy.
Let's be real about the lies Vought fed the world. Ben, the man behind the mask, projects this image of the ultimate, untouchable alpha male. He walks into a room and expects everyone to bow down. He demands respect, but he only knows how to get it through fear. But clinically, that's not strength. That's a massive defense mechanism. Real power doesn't need to remind everyone it's there. Real leaders don't need to beat their team into submission just to feel important. Soldier Boy relies on pure intimidation because, deep down, he's terrified of being seen as weak. He bullies and degrades people because his ego is so fragile that even a slight challenge feels like a threat to his survival.
You fucking pussy.
I was born to play Axel Foley. Why would you say all those horrible things about me?
This has been really...
Zip it, Coos. The guy's supposed to be funny. You're not funny.
Well, I could have been.
You're not good enough.
To understand why he's this damaged, you have to look at the man who actually made him, not the scientists at Vought. His father. Ben grew up with a father who flat out despised him. A man who looked at his own son and saw nothing but a disappointment. Even after Ben took the V, even after he became the most powerful person on the planet, his father still looked him in the eye and told him he was nothing but a cheat. That's his real origin story. Not a lab experiment, but a massive, unhealing emotional wound. He built his entire identity out of violence just to prove to a ghost that he was a real man. He became the bully because he couldn't handle being the victim anymore. Every time he hits someone, he's just projecting that original rejection. He wants them to feel as small as his father made him feel. And that brings us to his team, Payback. Vought called them heroes, but behind closed doors, it was a hostage situation. Soldier Boy didn't lead them, he held them captive. He systematically abused every single one of them. He beat Black Noir to a pulp just for wanting a career outside of his shadow.
I was born to play Axel Foley.
Jesus, Ben, really?
Zip it, Coos. You're not funny. Now shut your cockhole and get to work.
But where?
Which one of you wants next, huh? Thought so. You think you can be me? You're not a movie star. You're not shit. I see you getting out of line again, trying to move on up. I will put you in the fucking ground. Understood?
He made sure no one could ever shine brighter than him. He pushed them so far that they actually preferred handing him over to the Russians and risking their own lives just to get him away from them. Think about that. They didn't betray him for money. They betrayed him because surviving Soldier Boy was worse than whatever a Soviet gulag could do. Then he spends decades in a lab, tortured, irradiated. Most minds would shatter, but Soldier Boy just mutated. His rage compounded. When he finally wakes up in the modern world, he's a dinosaur. The rules have changed. The toxic masculinity he thrived on in the 80s doesn't work the same way. He claims he doesn't have PTSD, calling it a fake disease for the weak. But his mind is completely fractured. A simple Russian song triggers a blackout so violent it levels city blocks. He's walking around with severe, untreated trauma, but his ego won't let him admit he's broken.
Yeah? Knock, knock. Who's there? Go fuck your face.
Instead, he becomes a blunt instrument. His new power, that radioactive blast, is the perfect physical version of his mental state. He's a walking meltdown. He holds all that pain and anger inside until it explodes and destroys everyone around him. This is why his bond with Billy Butcher makes so much sense. They're two sides of the same coin, both driven by revenge, both using masculinity as a shield. They're two unhealed men who would rather burn the world down than face their own reflections. And finally, we get to his legacy. The apple that fell right at the base of the poison tree, Homelander. When Soldier Boy finds out he has a son, you'd think there'd be a spark of humanity. For a second, you almost believe he'll step up, but he is completely incapable of love.
If I'd raised you, I could have made you better. And not some weak, sniveling pussy starved for attention. But there's no fixing that now. Weak? You. I know. You're a fucking disappointment.
He looks at Homelander, a man literally crying for a father's approval, and what does he do? He calls him a fucking disappointment. He repeats the exact same words his father told him. He passes down the exact same trauma. He had the chance to break the cycle, to offer the acceptance that would have actually neutralized the threat Homelander poses to the world. But he couldn't. He looked at his son's tears and saw weakness, because needing people is a flaw in his twisted world. Soldier Boy is stuck in a loop. He's a victim of his own era, trying to force a world that moved on to bow to him. He isn't fighting for justice or even revenge. He's just a scared kid in a bulletproof body throwing a tantrum that kills thousands. We want to see him as this badass anti-hero because he talks tough and doesn't take orders.
Oi! Ain't you supposed to be a giant-ass dildo?
Aren't you supposed to be smart? Running a truck under the name Don T. Be a cunt? Same alias when we headed to Hero-gasm.
Well, oldie but a goodie. You and me.
I guess it's true. You're one of us now.
But the reality is pathetic. He's a man with the power of a god who never grew past the emotional age of a rejected child. He burned his team, he beat his allies, and he tried to kill his own son. He isn't a hero. He isn't even a soldier. He's a tragedy wrapped in an American flag, leaving nothing but blood and broken people behind. He is the original disease that infected every hero that came after him. So, who's the real monster? The son who destroys the world because he wants to be loved, or the father who destroys it because he doesn't know how to love at all? Drop a comment below and let me know. Don't forget to smash that like button. Thanks for watching and stay dangerous.